Here. Okay. All right. We are live. We are live and we are live. Okay. Well, Instagram is now live. So welcome. Welcome, guys. Okay. Mute's on. Welcome to my little studio. This is Dr. Mo. Welcome to our public GLP-1 and lifestyle medicine chat. I'm here with Neil and Courtney, my two top NPs at Active Medical Solutions, which is our practice. We are here to answer questions. Neil, I'll have you give the disclaimer because you do it way better than I do. Neil, you can hear his voice behind me. See, I can say hi, but I can't bring you on. Oh.
That's okay. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another chat with all of us. First of all, this is not medical advice. It's just us trying to answer some basic questions. If you have a specific question, you probably talk to your provider, but we can give some general guidance here, stuff we do with our regular patients. It's also not a HIPAA compliant space. So I know we're on social media, but if you don't want people knowing your business, don't say it here.
Right. Right. Yeah. If you don't want people put a lot of stuff out there on social media that I'm like, I guess no one really cares if it's a HIPAA compliant space because we're talking about all kinds of stuff. So anyhow, but we're all good with oh, thank you. Lena is over on TikTok. Lena, get over on Instagram. She will. I'm sure she's signing in because I'm like, I can't do three things at once. And yes, eventually, I wish I had the TikTok streaming key because then I could actually do a restream. But for right now, we got a makeshift thing going and it's working. So there's Neil. Neil's over on. Hold on. I'm like, I almost said block.
Yeah, I'll try to answer questions over there too.
Cool. Yeah, that way, because Neil will be grabbing questions on, well, they both. Everyone grabs questions from everywhere because I can't look at captions and talk at the same time. So people, again, I had, hi Stella. I had someone ask again, do you do other things other than prescribing GLP-1s? And I'm like, that is the easiest part of our job. We coach on, Neil and I are both nutritionists. We coach on behavior change. We coach on, because someone's like, well, I can't take GLP-1s, but I want advice. Okay. We do more of that than the GLP-1s. That just happens to be the way some of us get to be able to mentally embrace the changes that we've tried to embrace for 40 years. Okay. And you know what? Some of these things won't work for you. Some of these things are things that work for me. And the freedom, the mental freedom that I've gotten from the GLP-1. And if you're new to the space, because we do get people that pop in, if you're new to the space, what a GLP-1 is, it's a class of medications. Ozempic, if you're in the media, it's all Ozempic. Just like they're all Kleenex. They're actually not. But that's how the media has portrayed it. So that's how we go. I actually saw a super cool post the other day. It was one of the physician retire early things. I don't know, whatever. It was physicians looking for non-clinical careers. Everyone trying, which is where my coaching is now going to focus because I have to. These people are dying. Literally. So, but that one person said to someone else, listen, don't worry so much about the money you have in the bank. Get a good workout regimen, start eating your protein, and get on Ozempic. And I was like, where you been all my life? Holy shit. Because that's exactly it, right? Because I joke, I'm like, the healthcare providers I'm going to coach, guess who they are? They're the same as the patients I'm going to treat because we all need the same thing. This panel, right? You're like on my Zoom call, you're like, we're at my little panel of people. But everyone who's here has seen the benefits firsthand and like what it's done for not just our careers, but mental brain space, which is key, right? So anyway, that's my 2 cents that I just finally saw it in other spaces that I was like, finally, people are getting it. I just want to say, I told you so 2 years later. Cinderella on TikTok. Is it recommended for insulin resistance? In 94% of the cases in the last study that was done, it prevented pre-diabetics from going into full-blown diabetes 94% of the time. So you're like, I'm not pre-diabetic. So insulin resistance and pre-diabetes is a spectrum. It's metabolic derangement. Love that word. What do you guys think? Sorry, I'm gonna stop talking now.
Yeah, I think that's where it shines. It does everything related to that.
Yeah.
Like they're absolutely the most amazing drugs for insulin resistance that we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I do take metformin as well. And you ask why, and I'm like, because Peter Attia says too.
Will the doctor prescribe it based on that? Well, it depends on the doctor. Some will, some won't. We do, because a lot of times with the insulin resistance, it's usually weight gain or PCOS, so there's other issues with that. And or it's just the difficulty of losing weight. So, I mean, even if you're not happy with where you're at, a lot of times we will prescribe to kind of get you one where you're comfortable. And sometimes it's not even always about weight loss. Sometimes it's more about that mental brain space and just keeping your weight where it's at. Because instead of struggling and thinking about food all the time and over exercising, just makes things a little easier for some people.
Hi, Lisa.
Ali just got put on Ozempic. She's on week 5. How's it going?
Yeah, how is it? I've seen a lot lately on the semaglutide groups on a bunch of side effects. And some people on semaglutide have, and when I say semaglutide, I use the term not to single out compounded, right? Because technically it's not semaglutide. Semaglutide is produced by Novo Nordisk under the names of Ozempic and Wegovy. Compounding pharmacies take the base chemical, combine it with something else. But it is not Ozempic. It is not Wegovy. It is a different thing. So no freaking side effects.
That's awesome.
Nice. Yeah,
Nice.
that's the barrier that a lot of people end up with on semaglutide is sometimes it's the diarrhea, it's the nausea. Speaking of which, I went up yesterday because you guys know last week was a shit show in my head. I had 6 milligrams of tirzepatide and I ate everything that wasn't nailed down. And it was just mentally very taxing. I didn't gain any weight, but who cares, right? It was just mentally taxing. And so I went up to 8 because that's what was left in my vial. Ready? Frankendosing yet again. Linda's here yet. I wasn't really, it was just, I couldn't figure out the math. It was early and my brain was foggy from lots of sugar. So I was like, I'm doing 8. Because I couldn't figure out the 7.5 well enough because it was like 34.5 units. And I was like, oh, fuck it, just do 8. Do you know, I almost threw up yesterday. Like the nausea was so bad that, and I have 0 food noise. I'm talking take it or leave it. I'm like, thank God.
That helps. A nausea might be worth that. I mean,
I was going to say for an hour of nausea, I'm like,
yeah.
It's fine. It's fine. Oh my God. Yeah. So this is great. I need that pinned. Hold on. Let me pin this. Somebody read that comment that Ollie said. I'm going to pin it.
Oh, yeah. It had weirdly taken my hunger, cravings, and some of my worrying. Well, that's a nice benefit.
Right?
Yeah.
And there you have it.
It's that food noise.
Yeah.
And then we do see the other weird phenomena where, well, it's not weird. It makes total sense. Where people then start either obsessing or having anxiety about other things because now that they don't have their dopamine hit from food, like the cookie doesn't matter anymore. So now all of a sudden, all these other feelings that we quieted with food start coming up.
Yeah. Like a geyser. Yeah.
Yeah. Not fun. Not fun at all.
No.
Stella's been on Ozempic since 5/31. A1C was 13.8 with sugars around 400. 2 months later, it's 8.6 with the sugars in the hundreds.
Yeah.
That's
Like seriously.
You are a super responder. That is awesome. And yeah,
my
it's pretty amazing.
wow.
But the drug's the problem. The drug's bad for you. What? And I'm not saying that's sarcasm. Just so you guys know, my family will agree. Sarcasm is my first language. English is my second. Oh my God. Anxiety, aches, and pains gone 4 weeks in. Like,
Yeah.
it's a miracle. Miracle. I'm telling you.
Oh, someone's asking, what's the difference between semaglutide and tirzepatide?
One works better. You guys know me. They're laughing. If you see that, if you want to go to watchdrmo.com, you can actually see their faces. We're on YouTube as well. TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. You can see all 3 of our faces, and none of us have a real poker face, so it's kind of funny. So anyway, somebody say, what's the difference? Neil, you go ahead.
So the big difference, they're both GLP-1 agonists. So they both kind of make you, work on that pathway to kind of make you feel hungry or less hungry faster, feel fuller, stay fuller longer. The Mounjaro tirzepatide Zepbound medication adds GIP, and that's the kind of one where it kind of helps with the food noise, the brain stuff. You can actually walk by that cookie on the counter. You're not obsessing about the cookie or, something in the fridge that you want. That's where people get a lot of their benefit with the difference between semaglutide and tirzepatide products. I do have patients on semaglutide that don't have food noise anymore.
Yeah.
Some people do get that effect from it, but everybody's a little different. But that's the biggest difference. Overall, tirzepatide has better weight loss percentage-wise in the studies, but we have had people on semaglutide lose incredible amounts of weight, way more than the percentages in the studies. Overall, usually if you're compounding it, semaglutide's overall cheaper. So a lot of people do start there, and it's never a problem to switch back and forth. You know, if like this one's not working for you, move on to tirzepatide.
Or the other
I've
way.
had one person not respond to semaglutide out of the 4,000 plus we've treated.
Yep. Somebody said they're with our group, user something or other, big long number. They're with our group. They need help with pre-authorization. First of all, have you texted the team? Second of all, we don't control what's approved with the pre-authorization. We'll do it. We do charge for it because we have special staff that just does that are trained in pre-authorizations. Who know way more than I do about it, that's for sure. But it's all about if your insurance company will approve it under pre-authorization if it meets whatever criteria they set. So we have our patients call first, find out what they are. Usually with Mounjaro, your pre-authorization criteria are going to be that you have diabetes and have tried other expensive drugs. So if you don't have diabetes, the chances now weirdly, and then some insurance just approve Mounjaro, like not Zepbound. And it's an interesting loophole because I'm not complaining because some people get it on there. So insurance coverage is a different beast that we do not have control over at all. Oh my God, Vicky hit Wonderland. Cinderella Cinderella, you can take it with HRT. Oh, see,
Yeah.
Can I do
Absolutely. And it actually shows benefit with taking with HIT to help actually retain more muscle than not being on it. So absolutely.
So if
there's
you're
a couple,
I gave you props.
There's a couple questions about someone's gonna have surgery in 2 weeks and they're scared they're gonna gain weight. So yes, it is possible that you gain weight in that time. More than likely, it's going to be a little bit of water weight because you're probably eating a little bit more, and that carbohydrate is pulling water in with it. So I would not worry too much. That and you can go back on afterwards and get the process started again. So these meds aren't going anywhere. So don't worry too much. You just don't want anything in your stomach when you have surgery, to the point where we've kind of changed our protocol more recently. It used to be just, 2 weeks without meds. And now we're doing kind of 2 weeks without meds at least. And then like the last couple days, or last day or so, like a low residual diet, like almost clear liquid stuff. After talking to some anesthesiologists who hate these drugs because no one admits that they're on them, not because they didn't work well.
Yeah, but the question is, why do we not admit they're on them? Because everybody shames us for being on them.
Yep.
But they're finding food still in people's stomach after they've been, not without food for 12 plus hours. So, I mean, for your sake, not so much his sake, your sake so you don't throw up and, breathe that in, to have clear liquids and really make sure that you don't have anything in your stomach.
Yeah.
And be honest with your anesthesiologist.
Yeah, even if you don't want to tell your doctor, be honest and pre-op with your anesthesiologist, right? Like if your primary care doctor is going to not be nice, just at least tell the anesthesiologist you don't know him anyway. And he's going to see parts of you that, you're going to get real up close and personal.
And I wouldn't worry a ton about the weight gain. Depending on the type of surgery that it is, your body demands a higher caloric intake for a period of time for tissue recovery. So you're going to use more calories than your baseline rate. So I wouldn't worry a whole lot about it.
Yeah. Get yourself healthy.
Yes.
And then go. I want to do the stall question, so don't let me forget, because we're going to do that. I just want to hit this pancreatitis one first.
Yeah.
So we've had 4 cases of pancreatitis in our practice. So what, 0.01%? And we had 100% of those 4 patients had a pretty significant history of alcohol use, current alcohol use. I shouldn't say current alcohol use, not even heavy, but history of heavy in the past. So that was a problem. This is a doctor question, right? So you have to ask your doctor, or ask your provider. You got to get with them and say, listen, I had a history of pancreatitis. Should I or shouldn't I? Because it's a conversation. It's a bigger conversation than just, yes, everyone's fine. No, everyone's not fine. Why did you have it? Did you have a gallstone? Did it, did they take your gallbladder out? Did they remove the stone? Did they, there's a lot of questions involved with that. It's not an absolute no from our practice, but we also dig in pretty deep with our people. So, all right, you guys grab this one. How come I stopped losing?
There can be a lot of reasons.
Sorry.
There's that mathematical truth. There could be a lot of reasons. Your dose could need to increase. And then our group has pillars that we talk about anytime someone's in a stall, or just kind of, here are the things we need to focus on. Protein. We focus a lot on protein for women, 100 grams of protein a day minimum, with a goal of 50 by lunchtime. That's been proven to decrease your caloric intake throughout the entire day. It keeps you fuller, helps you stay fuller longer, helps you make better choices later in the day. Restorative sleep. You need a minimum of 7 hours of restorative sleep every night. Hydration and electrolytes. So stay hydrated. We don't have like a specific water goal, but your urine needs to be clear, essentially clear, and at least one electrolyte drink daily. More if you're in a really hot area and you're outside and you sweat a lot. Exactly. If you live where we live, then you need more electrolytes. Strength training. So some type of movement and adding in some sort of strength with that. And that could be body weight strength. You could just start with walking. It depends on kind of where your activity level was prior to beginning anything. And then the last one is stress. And that may be the hardest one for people to hit. But stress, and no, we can't do things about, your work stress, but we can do our best to minimize the impacts to your body. And whether that's through,
I'm going to fight you on that one.
Sorry.
I'm going to fight you on that one. You can
Mo can help you with that part. We can't help you necessarily with the family stress. If you got 6 kids running around, you're going to have stress. But if we can help with tips on that. Meditate, journaling, taking a walk every day, getting a nice cup of tea, just some sort of something to minimize the impact that stress has on your body. And there are ways to do that.
But that stress will shut down your weight loss like no other. Amanda's here now. Neil ran out of the room. Neil's back.
My dog was barking at something. He's going crazy. The workers.
Of course. He's got stuff to look at. Where's my dog? Thank you. Okay.
He was just running around behind you.
There's something that's living behind the fence, animal wise, and he is trying to dig under the fence. So we call him the landscaper. It's all good. Do we prescribe HRT? Sometimes, yes. We do not do testosterone any longer because it's a controlled substance. But Amanda is our women's health expert who is here. If you go to YouTube, I'm going to go do our other things. So if you want to be our patient or look at our states, the best way to do it is go to amstelehealth.com. All right. Your consultation is free. I use quotes because we don't charge you until we realize we're a good fit. So you pop in, we do what's called asynchronous telehealth. It's like having a doctor in your pocket. So not only do we do lifestyle medicine, but for our patients, we also do urgent care. So if you're like, shoot, my daughter's got strep, I am absolutely certain it is stress. Oh, I missed the eyebrows when he walked by.
Yeah.
So Neil's dog you're like, what the hell? The people that are on Instagram and TikTok has a dog with killer eyebrows. Beard. I'm a sucker for the terriers, man. Anyway, which is why I have a landscaper. Anyway, so go to amstelehealth.com to check out our states. You talk to us, you see if we're a good fit, and urgent care is included with all of our patients because we don't think you should pay us and then have to pay somebody else. If you want to look at coaching, the focus is going to change a little bit. It's going to be we're going to involve more professional coaching. I really have to target the healthcare providers. Like I said, they're just dying. And I need to get to more patients. And instead of trying to coach them myself, I'm going to coach healthcare providers to help them. So we're going to just broaden it. Now, people are I am more than willing to take on non-healthcare professionals in my coaching. So there might be stuff in there that doesn't relate to you, but I need the healthcare providers to have a safe space. So anyhow, I do coaching as well. That's at drmocoaching.com, or just send me a DM on the Instas, or TikTok. Neil is the best. I should have pinned that comment, Neil.
Yeah. Where's that?
Hold on. Give me a second.
I'm still way up top. I'm trying to make sure we don't miss anything.
That's so funny. Which states?
Lena pinned it.
Lena, did you type it?
Yep.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Lena.
Illinois. Do we have Illinois? No, we have Indiana. But if you are not in our states, you can go to, we have 2 people that we trust. and we have other people that we trust. Kind of, not really. We have two people that we trust. Go to whereismaribel.com, Maribel. Maribel might be here, or whereisnicole.com. Nicole is nationwide. Maribel's states are on her website.
How do you spell Nicole? I tried to find hers the other day.
Nicole, Nicole.
Well, I mean, maybe I didn't try Nicole, but I tried Where is Nikki? Obviously that was wrong.
Whereisnicole.com.
I tried Where is Nicole and it didn't work.
Okay, it just worked for me.
Okay, then I was just being something,
Yeah.
but I had Maribel to work, so I knew I was doing something right.
Nicole, whereisnicole.com. It's Hamilton Telehealth if you really want her real website, but I'm gonna
I just Googled her and found it.
yeah, because if you Google her, sometimes it'll send you to her push site, which will cost you a little bit more money, which is fine. More than welcome to go through push. They got me started. I have a small place in my heart for them.
She must have smacked the Google around enough because I think her Hamilton Telehealth came out on top.
Oh, well, there's another Hamilton Telehealth too, so be careful.
That's her. I saw a picture.
Okay, make sure. Yeah, that's why. Where's Nicole? Anyway, my girlfriend's on a GLP-1 and experiencing severe nausea. Is this typical? Well, for about half a day, possibly. Depends. I was gonna say it depends. Did her doctor say, "Oh, you'll be fine starting at 5 milligrams"? That's a horrific idea. I still see people that they're like, "I can't eat anything." Okay, you ready? I'm hopping on the soapbox. I can't eat anything. I'll tell you right now, today, I'm probably not eating shit. I didn't eat much yesterday at all because my dose went up because last week was an absolute shit show. I ate too much sugar. The food noise was horrible, and I'm not going through that again. So I went from 6 milligrams last week. Why 6? Don't ask. It's a compounding thing, and I can't figure out the friggin' math. I can, but I can't. So I hate measuring like half a unit, guys. Half a unit. Do something with this, but whatever. Anyway, so I went 8 milligrams this week and I have no food noise, but my nausea is a little over the top. I have zero desire to eat today. I will later. I'm sure probably 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock. It'll be like, oh, I can probably eat something. I'm not going to die from not eating for a day because I'm going to stay super hydrated. I'm going to drink electrolyte drinks, probably 2 of them today. I'll sip on a protein shake. Nobody's going to die from one day. I mean, and I'm at my goal weight. I hate that word. You guys know that too. If you want me to just stay on a soapbox, but the severe nausea, is she vomiting, right? Because vomiting is never an acceptable side effect. The severe nausea, it depends. Some people, I mean, some people call in sick to work because they have severe nausea. If you work in the ER, man, I've worked with an IV in my arm. So some of us have different thresholds for that.
Yep.
Remember Amanda? Amanda, you saw the first time. That was the first time I did that. I've done it more than once, which is pretty sad. In that room, when I walked in, that guy had that cellulitis on his arm. This is like a million years ago. And I walked in and I had to sit down because I thought I am going to throw up in this guy's room, walking in with my pole. And because you couldn't take a day off. And this guy's like, I think you're sicker than I am. I'm like, no, we're good. We got this. So anyhow, the severe nausea really sucks. Okay. And I get that. And sometimes we will prescribe Zofran if you can take it, if it's not a contraindication and you, whatever. But you need to work on your dose. You need to talk to your provider. What are you eating? You know, these guys will tell you, log what you're eating, make sure no Whole Foods meatloaf, you know?
Yeah. I mean, she's eating too much at one sitting and then she's nauseated the rest of the day? Is it certain foods? We found like red meat, certain vegetables like broccoli, cauliflower will really irritate the stomach and make people sick. But the biggest thing, if it's just starting, is hydrate, sip a protein shake so you can get some calories and kind of go from there. But yeah, or otherwise talk to your doctor about maybe possibly a nausea medicine when you first take shots.
Yeah, sometimes it's something weird that but I've always eaten 2 eggs for breakfast every morning. Now you
Not
can't.
anymore.
You know, it may be something weird. For some people, it's, bread or heavy carbs, or you're really going to have to kind of write it down and look through. If you're on too high of a dose, you're on too high of a dose. That's all there is to it. But if it's certain foods, really looking at, oh, wow, I didn't even realize the nausea happens every morning after I have breakfast. There you go. It's what you're eating.
On here too long, I ended up with hair loss after not eating enough and not enough protein. With any diet, whether you're on these types of medications or not, if you calorie restrict enough, you potentially can lose hair. The best things you can do is eat protein. Make sure you get your protein in, and we typically just recommend a multivitamin. Usually recommend biotin as well, but that's pretty much where we're at. It typically grows back when you actually start eating a little bit more normal.
Hold on. I'm looking at a comment, and it said, seriously, so I'm paying the 80 something a month and get strep, you can prescribe something. I think that was sarcasm, because I kind of read it as sarcasm. I'm not sure if you're my kind of person, or like, well, since I'm paying $89 a month, you should prescribe something. I don't know if it was that. If it was, either way, we still do. So, but yeah, we are your, so here's how we think of lifestyle medicine. Lifestyle medicine isn't just lifestyle medicine, like we work on your lifestyle. We help improve your lifestyle. Like, you don't have to go sit in a waiting room for 3 hours in an urgent care trying to get a strep test and blah, blah, blah. When you like, listen, my daughter's got strep. I got strep. I know it's strep. I got white patches. I don't have a shift. I don't need to go to the ER. Yeah. We'll start you on something. And then we give you ER precautions. We're all emergency medicine trained. So like, we can spot that fit from triage.
And it's not always needing antibiotics. Sometimes it's, more of a viral infection, and, without years and years of experience, I'm usually happy to write them, but sometimes it's more of a, let's wait and see kind of thing. Give it a day or two. If you woke up with cough, congestion, sore throat, body aches, it's probably not strep throat, and antibiotics probably not going to fix you.
It will give yeast infection.
Yeah. And right now it's probably COVID or flu still.
Right.
Or there's something here that I'm telling you, Tess, I had it. 102
Negative
fever for
everything.
2.5 days, negative for everything, no other symptom, but I have no idea. I was halfway back to the urgent care to get a Lyme test. I don't know. There's stuff going around that just is.
When I was working at the other little ER around here, they did a viral panel that had like 18 viruses on it, and it never came back negative, which made the patients really happy. It was expensive as hell though. So
Yeah.
I'm like, so it's a virus. And they're like, so now that I know it is this virus, what do we do? I'm like, Tylenol, Motrin, same thing we were going to do before, but here's your bill.
Yeah, that's the thing. When people want the name of the specific virus or want all the viral testing, it doesn't change anything. I'm going to treat it the same.
Unless it's HIV.
It's just weird for me because
Sorry, that was my, okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, yeah.
That's where my brain goes.
That's
My
true.
brain-
That is the one I'll treat a little different, but
Herpes
I spent
simplex
15 years
virus.
getting microdosed with every virus under the sun, and I hadn't had a fever like that other than COVID since college the first time, like the 90s. So I'm like, what is wrong with me? Oh, you just didn't get microdosed constantly.
Right. Hold on. Alexis Kimberly said, my tirzepatide says to use 0.125. Is that to the second line? I'm so confused.
Oh, please text whoever is taking care of you.
yeah.
Yeah, please don't take too much.
Got
Have
to
one of
text
those,
the
please.
provider. So what we do in our practice is you text us with a picture of the label, because we have like 6 different pharmacies, I think, whatever, I don't know, a bunch of different pharmacies that we have relationships with to make sure our states are covered and our people are covered and they have choices, because we are not a pharmacy. We don't make the shit. We don't sell the shit. We collect money on behalf of the pharmacies because we get a better deal than you would. Where was I going with this? Oh yeah. We have people text us like a picture of the syringe, a picture of the label, a picture of the drug drawn up. Is this the right thing? A picture of the instructions. So, and we write them. So we look at the chart while you're looking at the thing, and we make sure, which is really what I almost did the other morning. I almost texted you guys like, guys, is this like normal? Is this what I should be injecting? Because my brain's really, really fuzzy. Oh, Sarah Rodriguez is on Instagram. So we have to say hi.
Hey, cookies.
Hey, Sarah.
Anyway,
Rachel
So-
above, been on
Extra-
Zep since May 12th. I take it every 7 to 11 days. I've gone from 181 to 144 at 5.3. And then since she's taken it every 7 to 11 days, is that okay? Well, should I have lost more? No, that's amazing results since May. You should be
Really?
super happy. Some people only lose half pound a week. Some people lose up to 2 pounds a week. Sometimes it's really fast and it slows down. But it's in the right direction. So that's a win right there. I typically don't like to have my patients go past 10 days when spacing them out, just because the blood levels can drop a little bit, and then they can sometimes start to get side effects. Being on the lowest dose, I don't think you're going to end up getting them. So the 11 days, if you're happy at that weight, is probably okay. And then you can move it in like you needed more support this week because of stress, hormones, whatever, kind of pull it in back to 7 days, get a little bit better relief.
Sorry, it's love bug season.
Yeah.
Angela Burgess, today took week 3 of 2.5 of Zepbound, have felt nothing at all on this. So if you are a patient at week 3, or you are a patient, yeah, Neil's like, go up. Because if you don't feel any, like, there's a feeling you get on these medications. Now, for most people, my dad never felt a thing. He just had weight loss. So we could go up as high as he wanted. And I think we went up as high as 10. Because, you know, he's all by the numbers. Like, you know, he totally tracks numbers. He tracks when he loses his weight. He weighs himself twice a day. And he has no mental, like, he's like, how much, you know, what is my metabolism overnight if I eat this before bed? Like, I'm telling you, like, he's all numbers, and he's retired. So this is what he does. So actually right now he eats bread in Italy, but that's another story.
Nice.
So, so if you feel nothing at all, if you are a patient, we would bump you up if you're not losing. You know, if you have no appetite suppression, feel nothing. Some people don't feel a damn thing. Courtney and Amanda are 2 of them, till they hit like 7.5.
Yep.
So
Right now I'm cruising on 15 and kind of stuck.
kind of stuck. Yeah.
But I'm low. I'm very low. So it's the 5 pound stuck. It's not the 50 pound stuck.
Oh, this is an interesting one. Sorry. I'm like, no, this is a good one. Because this is something that's been addressed lately. I have 0 hunger cues and food noise because I'm afraid that when I stop, it'll all come back. Well, I won't manage well. Okay, so what I feel today is what I felt in the very beginning when I had 50 some odd pounds to lose. When I got closer to my body being more metabolically healthy and my weight was better, didn't have all that fat hormone feedback. Did I accept that? I declined it. I'm like, I don't need trolls. Sorry. All I think of is the pencil eraser guys. Anyway, when I think of trolls. In the beginning, I said this once, and this got so slammed on TikTok. That's a tomorrow me problem. Everyone's like, well, you got to think about it now. Well, okay, fine. I could worry about everything in the world that might happen tomorrow. Is that going to make you happy? But when I got closer, and this is what I hoped would happen, when I got closer to my healthier weight, I had way more hunger cues, but no food noise. So I could eat, and it was a much more natural rhythm that I felt like, holy shit, this is what normal people, which it's really not normal, let's be serious. Most of us have this problem of some sort. It got a lot better toward the end. I don't know. What do you guys think about that?
So, I mean, you don't plan on coming off anytime soon. So
Ever.
you don't really need to, or ever. So you don't really need to plan right now for the future. Just like I've had patients that weren't ready to work out till they were on the medicine for 6 months. And that's okay. Not ideal, but it's okay. With this, if you're not ready to come off, it's okay to not have a plan. But if you're already considering coming off, yes, having a plan is good. When you decide to come off, I would taper the dose down to kind of give you some support while you know the drug's there, with always the possibility of going back up if you need to, and having it on hand. And you need to plan, like, so change lifestyle things. So you need to start changing your diet with something that you can continue when you're done. So I wouldn't pick a diet that's like, you know, carnivore, keto. You want to pick a balanced diet. I like the Mediterranean style diet with more protein because it's sustainable when you're done. So you just kind of eat the same, and then hopefully you don't gain anything because you're eating smaller portions. And after you've been on it long enough, I mean, I've had patients continue to lose weight because they've changed their diet and their portion sizes because they're just, now it's a normal for them to eat less. And the same thing with exercise. If you get in the habit of going and exercising, you can be successful off these medications. You just have to plan while you're on them and make changes while you're on them.
And whatever you do, don't stop cold turkey.
Yeah, no cold turkey.
High dose, especially. We have almost every single patient that we've had do that has come back a few months later saying, I gained some weight back. It's scaring me, which, you know, someone on here said, what happens after we meet our goal and stop semaglutide? You know, our recommendation are stable for minimum of 3 months. So you can allow your body to set its, whatever you want to call it, set point, or, you know, establish your habits, all of those things, be stable for at least 3 months, then taper, then stretch out once you're on the minimum dose. Those are the people that we I feel like if they stop completely, I don't see those come back. You know, you may have that 5 to 10 pound rebound. That's in the studies and pretty much in general, yes, 5 to 10 pounds. But if you do it correctly, it should stay off.
Well, maybe
If
it's
that's
not
your
gonna
goal.
stay.
If
I'm
that's your
gonna
goal.
say. It's not guaranteed.
No,
because
no.
those
But
weight loss drugs and they do other things. So it's people think it's a weight loss drug. You stop, the diet's over. Every study that comes out is another thing that this class of medications is improving in our metabolisms. And even if you do the same things without the drugs, you may not have, number one, you're not going to have the same metabolic benefits inside your body that you can't see. Even though you keep the weight off, you're not going to be as healthy as if you're on the meds, if you judge by the studies.
that's true. That's very true.
So, and that's a pretty damn contrary point of view. Shocking, because I never have those. I know, Jesus. Well, at least maybe I won't get kicked off of TikTok today. We'll see. Trying not to. Oh, get over your buddy. That's why you're.
And there are some people, and I talk to a lot of them that are like, that are similar to you and I. Like, I struggled for so many years, decades. I struggled. It's simply not worth it to me. It is simply not worth it to me to find out whether or not I can white knuckle it and maintain the sanity that I feel from not worrying about the weight gain when I go on vacation, not worrying about the weekend getaway, not worrying about this meal out and if it's going to trip a trigger and, you know, how much weight am I going to gain? Just not having that constant, what can I eat? When can I eat? How can I eat? Am I on a diet? Am I not on a diet? What is my diet? Not having that constantly be there. And granted, I'm on semaglutide, so there is some food noise, but I'm able to control it with the semaglutide. It's just not worth that battle for me anymore. It's just not. I can't tell you in 10 years.
For that shit.
Yeah, you know, in 10 years, may I reevaluate? I don't know. Maybe I'll reevaluate in a year, but I know that this week I'm taking my shot, and it's just not worth the battle for me anymore.
Jenny on Instagram. I wish I'd heard the beginning of the live. Good news. My lives are on watchdrmo.com when they're public. And I actually think we're going to advertise this more because instead of having people pay for coaching, I just want to do it here. And because here I've got Neil and Courtney and Amanda and sometimes Brandon, who, I mean, literally you could have 5 healthcare providers giving you a whole shit ton of opinion, more than you ever wanted. So for free for an hour. So what I'm actually going to do, I'm going to do a soft ending. So we're going to start my private coaching call at 11:30. Sorry, my dog's drinking out of the pool. What the hell's that noise? So yeah, so this is going to be coaching, guys. Come on in. All right. Here's my bad news to my nurse practitioners. We might need to talk about some more like life coachy stuff. Cause guess what? Then I can coach you guys too. Cause you're a captive audience. Sorry, not sorry. Anyhow. Okay. What else? What do we got? What did I miss, you guys?
Here's another one. How do we get past a plateau? I lost 60 pounds and I'm just stuck. So we kind of went over this a little bit before, but I think it bears repeating. So first things first, if you're stuck, the mathematical truth is you need to cut your calories a little bit more. So the best way to do that is if you're keeping a food diary of kind of how much you're eating, and then we kind of make a determination of how much we need to cut or where we need to get to. First things first, the easiest thing is making sure you're getting your protein. For women, it's typically around 100 grams a day. This will help you get fuller faster, stay fuller longer. Protein shakes are great if you can't get that amount of protein, but if you're having more appetite and you're having difficulties staying full, whole foods are going to be your best friend. So this is like where you have that method. Instead of drinking it, you're having to chew your chicken. And that takes time to fill your stomach, so it slows you down a little bit. Making sure you're staying hydrated is an aspect thing with electrolytes, at least once a day. And hydration there's not a specific number. Your pee should be pretty clear because depending on where you live, how active you are, might be how much everyone needs to drink a little bit more or less. Trying to mitigate stress. This is the toughest one, I think, because there's so many things that are outside your control. But downloading an app to help with either meditation, taking 5 minutes to just relax and think about things. What's up, Mo?
I just had an idea. You like that? You could like see the light bulb there.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait. But if I focus on the pillars, I can totally sneak life coaching in here. Because look if we're working on stress, how do we do that?
There you go.
All right.
And the last thing is restorative sleep. I was just I didn't save it. I was just reading about a study, and it was talking about not getting enough sleep and how bad it is for weight gain. I didn't get to finish the article. But yeah, 7 hours of uninterrupted sleep for you if you
Yeah, if
can.
you're like 2 hours less, it's like 10 pounds or something a month. It's like stupid high.
And then let's throw in the apnea in there, because I think with my husband, that was a lot of his problem before, is because he had significant undiagnosed sleep apnea, and your body is not resting. His Garmin, I had no idea, never registered deep sleep until
Wow.
his medicine. Like he told me one time, a couple of months ago after he'd started, I got an hour and a half of deep sleep last night. I was like, I'm so sorry. He's like, no, I never registered deep sleep before. I was like,
Oh, no wonder you're cranky pants.
bad.
Well, yeah, my husband was the same way, and he had diagnosed sleep apnea, and we had a CPAP, but still, until some of the weight came off, it was like,
Well, it's an elephant sitting on your chest.
well, yeah, it was literally like narcolepsy. I mean, he could not sit down and stay awake. I mean, I've shared before, we had to he had to quit driving on our vacations because he would fall asleep. I mean, he simply couldn't enjoy life. And it was like this, knew he needed to lose weight, but
how do you do it? Like, you know what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, but like he didn't have the energy to like go for a walk, and changing diet seemed insurmountable, and just this, snowball effect until some of the weight came off. And then all of a sudden he could sleep better. He had more energy. He could walk around the block. He could actually enjoy life.
So super interesting piggyback off of that, Courtney, because I had 2 healthcare providers say the same thing to me this week, which is really what's making me shift my focus. Cause I'm like, God, these guys are dying. And Courtney's husband is a nurse practitioner. And I had 2 people that are working full-time as you're going to laugh at this, Courtney, primary breadwinners in the home. Cause Courtney and her husband are dual breadwinners.
Yeah.
No kids, but anyhow, we're old, so it is what it is. But they both said almost the same words. I want to teach people so badly. I want to start this thing on the side where I'm teaching people and helping them, but I have no energy at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
And they think it's from work, right? So my husband literally just did a study on emergency physicians and burnout, because there's not a lot. And no, I meant there's not a lot of studies. Right? There are actually no studies on emergency medicine physicians and burnout alone. Okay. And I'm like, what? How stupid is that? But anyhow, his data, burnout is not the DSM-5 says it's a work-related disorder. It's not. It's a health-related disorder, because we have no energy to do things. So if people don't get their health under control, I mean, I don't care what we would have told your husband. What we did tell not we tell him. He knew. Right. You know what you're supposed to do. Yeah. You don't have energy to do it. You've got to have something to interrupt the drift. Whether that's a drug, whether that's coaching, you've got to invest something in interrupting the drift in that cycle. It's hell. It is absolute hell. Courtney was watching her husband die. Mm-hmm. In a chair. I mean, bottom line. So anyhow, yeah, sorry in advance, but I got to go that route because I can't shut up about it. But Jenny on Instagram asked, is tracking something you work with your people with? If so, if they have resistance, how do you help them break through? So I know someone in this call. Oh, I'm sorry if there's a time delay on TikTok. I don't know what the hell to do. And thank you, Laura. Take all the stool softeners, not all of them. Okay. But take them appropriately. We'll grab that. We'll talk about the poop real quick. But Jenny, yes, that is something we talk about, but I've got people on this call that are hella resistant to tracking. They're talking with me. So Neil's real big on it. As far as meet people where they are, right? That's the first thing. I like tracking. Guess who didn't track all last week when I was eating like shit? I didn't want the mirror held up to my face either. I didn't track. I was like, Neil's like, are you getting your protein in by noon? I'm like, no, because I'm not tracking. I don't want to look at this shit.
How much protein's in ice cream?
Right? I don't know. How much protein's in a half gallon of ice cream? About 6 grams, if you're counting. No wonder I felt like shit all week. But it's a terrible spiral, right? Dan Martell talks about this, that you're either spiraling up or you're spiraling down, and you don't know when the downward spiral. I can tell you exactly the day the downward spiral started. But I need medication to help me with that. right? It is what it is for me. Not everybody needs it, but some people do. So we just meet them where they are and then have them track what they are ready to track, because that's the key, right? All right, let's hit some other questions.
See, Michelle's, I'm struggling to get amount of good calories needed to stay within my calorie deficit. Are you saying you're eating bad calories and kind of going outside that? Or are you saying that you can't even get enough food, period? Like you can't eat enough?
What's enough?
Yeah. I mean, well, is this like you're eating like once a day, you eat a saltine cracker for breakfast and like a half a slice of apple for dinner? Like, is it like literally zero? Are you just not getting protein because you don't like protein or it makes you really sick? We just got to find a source of protein that works for you. Let's see. Can't get enough good calories. So
what is enough?
Yeah, enough good.
People are trying to get 1800 and that's dumb.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I'll assume. So, a lot of times people can't get enough protein, which would be like, I guess I'd say the good calories, because you need protein while you're on these medications to keep your muscle. A lot of times if you can't eat it, it's okay. Get a protein supplement, either like the powder to make shakes or the pre-made shakes themselves. Sometimes they're a little too much to eat to begin with. So, even in drinking half of it for breakfast and a little while later eating the other half is okay. Even in the beginning, if you're having a protein shake 2-3 times a day with a little bit of apple slices or fruit in the beginning, if that's all you can do, that's all you can do. The biggest thing would be to stay hydrated. She's saying TDE says over 2,200 calories. I do protein shakes to help with protein.
Me, Amanda, and Courtney are all like, your TDEE is going to have you gain weight.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. I mean, I don't know very many people at all that would be in a calorie deficit at 2,200. Maybe Neil. Neil, yes, but okay. But you guys can't see Neil. Neil's like a bodybuilder physique, and I don't know how many times a week do you lift, and you lift really heavy. And
my husband
heavy, 4 times a week.
And if you were to look at his training peaks, you'd get the look on your face that I do.
Oh, yeah. For me, she absolutely, you can move up to 7.5.
Yeah, I pinned that one. Thank you.
Yeah. Which should I use? So, I mean, you can start at this 2,200. And if you're not losing weight, I would start subtracting 250 calories or so, 250 to 300 calories.
And she can't get in. Here, ready for controversy? Yeah. She's saying she can't get in 2,200.
You don't need to.
So start what you can get in, track it, see where you are. Are you gaining or losing? And again, if you can keep good food quality, so many people on here I'm so proud of, to be honest, because so many people on here are like, oh no, I eat clean. And I'm like, good for you. I had ice cream for breakfast. I didn't, but there are days that I don't anymore. Like the last week was really ugly. The good news is it's like a one-off week. So it's not like I used to have all of my weeks like that, all of them. And that sucks really bad. So start where you are, right?
Okay. So she's 5'10", was 366, currently at 311. So they're just basing that on your total. Yeah, you don't need all that many calories because the extra adipose tissue, the fat, is your fuel. So you just need enough to get through, and you need to basically burn through the extra stored fuel on your body. So you still have those calories available to you for energy and other processes. You just got to burn through them. So eating less is okay with me.
Super cool calculator out there. I don't know where it is. I'm looking a little bit, but there's
and Michelle, I would base your calorie need on your lean body mass, not your total body mass. So if you should be around 157 pounds, that's where I would base your caloric needs on.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, that TD is to maintain that weight you're at right now. That's by definition what it is.
And I'll burst someone's bubble, but Mo has the studies. The starvation mode is a myth. Sorry.
What a bummer, huh?
I know that whole I'm not eating enough calories and so therefore I can't lose weight. That's
also these meds suppress that body response to those low calories, that rebound hunger, that all that food noise that we all got when you tried to decrease your calories, all of that, the rebound hormone response to weight loss, all of that is suppressed completely or significantly by being on these medications, because all of that hormone cascade, it's taken out of the game. And so you don't have to worry so much about that. Am I going to be ravenously hungry if I decrease my calorie intake like we always were in the past?
So good question on Instagram. April said to use your goal weight to get calories. That's a good sort of way to do it, to get the TDEE that you will be at. The best way would be, because, really we want the Rumpelstiltskin, right? We want the Holy Grail. We want we want to keep our lean body mass, which you're never going to keep well, you're more than likely going to lose some, right? You're going to lose bone mass because you're going to lose hair mass. For God's sake, I lost a lot of hair, but it's back. But you're going to lose lean body mass because you don't need to carry around that 300 pounds anymore. So say you go to 200, right? You go from 300 to 200. You're going to look at your lean body mass. You're going to look at your target lean body mass. This is what I want to do for people on coaching. But let me just tell you, we'll give you the formula. So you take your lean body mass, right? And say you want to get to, you're going to start with 25% body fat, right? Because that would be the initial goal for health. So again, you take that lean body mass, and then you take your total body weight, which would have 25%. I'm not going to give you the equations here because it's annoying. That would be your goal weight, right? So setting that goal weight can be more complicated, or you can just say, my first goal weight's 180. What do I need? Like April said, what do I need to be at 180? That would be a place to start. Or, you can start with, here's how much food I can tolerate. Some days it's 800 calories in the beginning, because that's all my body was urging me to eat. People are like, but I don't have any hunger cues. That's because your body's burning the fat on your ass, man. Good on you. So sorry, but that's the truth. And that's people like, you lost weight so fast. I lost 15 pounds the first month. How many people? All right, ready for the comments? Get your popcorn. That's not healthy. It wasn't healthy trying to do an Ironman at 157 pounds either. And then I gained 10 after because I rebound. So, I mean, realistically, so there's different ways you can do it, but the whole point is the TDEE is your maintenance calories. So if you want to maintain that weight, eat that.
See, I think if, depending on where you're at and what BMI you're starting at, I think aiming for like your BMI to be like 25, so it's normal, would be a good starting spot. That you might like find you get to a weight that your BMI is 26.5 and you're like, I don't want to lose any more weight. I'd look sickly here. I wouldn't feel comfortable. And that's fine. A lot of times it's a moving target as you get closer to it. Some people go a little lower. Some people will go a little higher. I want to hit this one. Thoughts on intermittent fasting. So if you think that you can sustain weight loss when you get off of GLP-1 medication using intermittent fasting, go for it. Most people can't stand doing that. They want to eat more normal. So for me, it's not a viable option. And while on the medications, I think it'd be very difficult to do, because if you're only having a short window to eat food in and you're already not hungry, you're not going to get enough calories and not get enough protein. So I would choose more balanced diet and just focus on the protein. And if your appetite's well controlled, you're not going to have to really worry about calories if you're getting that protein.
I pinned a comment. Is it true electrolytes will cause you to stall? 100% false.
Well, I mean, yes and no. You need the electrolytes to exercise and for fat burning processes. So technically, yes, because you're not getting them from eating. So
I think people are saying if you take electrolytes, you'll stall.
Oh, no, God, no. No, you need them. God, you need them.
So, but I think like if you're taking the electrolytes, in a full sugar Gatorade, possibly.
Maybe. It may be throwing you.
Are you drinking Prime? Are you?
Hell no. I'm drinking Ghost.
I was going to say, I saw that. I was like, what are you drinking?
Hell no.
Yeah, we found out the Prime studies with lead and mercury and yeah.
I hope that's false because they're very good.
I
and
hope
it comes out that they're fine. But
don't avoid them. Don't avoid. Who is it's the same people out there who are saying fruit's gonna fucking kill you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Stop my explicit.
Mark Darrow, I'm on Monjaro and ramping up each month. How do I know what dose is best to land on? So typically, because there was another question, you want to be on a dose that gives you good appetite suppression with minimal side effects. So if that's 5, you're losing weight well, you don't have an appetite, you don't have side effects, that's your dose right now. You might be on the dose for 2, 3, 4, 5 months before you need to go up. I've had patients lose 160 pounds, never going above 10. And Mo lost most of your weight at the lowest dose. So it just keep playing with it until you find the dose that works well for you.
Somebody asked, I've been on 5 for a year. Is it okay to go up to 7.5?
Yes.
Yeah. So maintenance is super messy for me. Some weeks the food noise comes back with a vengeance. Last week, my brains has really deep grooves that have difficulty me getting out of. They're big ruts. So yeah, I change my dose depending 5.5 to 7. Usually someone asks the 6 to 8 this. I don't normally do that. I need to put a post-it note inside the thing because the labels are very confusing from some pharmacies. And although it's our cheapest pharmacy, their labels are super confusing and anyway, whatever, I'm over it. So I would really how do our patients do? I'm just annoyed. Sorry. Because I could barely dose this week. If I have like sugar brain, which I did this week, I could not figure it out. I was like, yeah, whatever.
Pam
Anyway.
above this up on tirzepatide 5. She's only lost 2 pounds in 5 weeks. Is that normal? Yep. For some people it is. That's just not your dose. You might need to go up a little bit higher. Courtney and Amanda needed to get to about 7.5, 10 before it really, was very effective for them. Some people are lucky and the lower doses work super well. So, keep at it. You're on week 5 and you just got to find your dose.
Yeah. So yeah, she said I was worried about the side effects after being on 5 for so long. What I found is if I moved up too early, the side effects were terrible. But if I kind of was like, no, I'm ready. Like when I finally was ready to move to 7 or up to 5, like, cause initially I was on 2.5 for 3 to 4 months. And then I moved up to 5 too early. That was a bad idea. Thought I was going to die. Kind of feeling that way today. You'll see every once in a while, I'm like, I'm going to throw up. No, you're not. Sucks.
So Deanna's asking, is BMI good to go with while losing, staying at a normal BMI is good to go by? I think it's a good tool to use as a guesstimate. Depending on how much muscle you carry and bone structure, the BMI might mean honestly nothing for you. Your BMI, like my BMI is 31. I have a 6-pack of abs. Like I'm pretty lean at that. It's just I carry a ton of muscle mass. I know. And that, so I'm not worried about my BMI being that high. But if you don't have a ton of muscle mass, 24 might be in a more appropriate BMI for you or lower. So use it as a tool, as a gauge to start with, and then kind of adjust it as you go, just like the weight you want to lose or actually be at to feel comfortable.
Yeah.
I feel like it's always, yeah, but your goal is always a moving target.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's when you talk about what is your goal, it is more than just the number on the scale, because I am 10 pounds below what I thought was my goal, but that was with my prior muscle mass, that unfortunately with 60 pounds of weight loss, I have lost some muscle mass, which is normal. And I need to work harder to gain that back. But I am not composition wise where I want to be. So I'm not at my goal, even though I'm 10 pounds less on the scale than I thought I wanted to be when I started.
Yep.
So
that's Kimmy's comment that I just pinned, is that in maintenance, food noise is back. My eating habits aren't great, but I'm not gaining. Welcome to my life. Because I didn't gain any weight.
Great. That's great though. Not gaining. That's great.
Good. But if you knew the mental hell I went
through. I know. But celebrate the victory of not gaining.
But she doesn't like the food noise.
Sure. Nobody. Yeah. You could certainly increase for that reason. But the victory of not gaining, I don't know about her, but the victory of not like every 5 seconds, the minute you like glance sideways at
there's a cupcake. There's 5 pounds. That's nice.
Yes.
And we have one patient that we dig in really deep with that needs a higher dose to keep that food noise at bay, but has to balance that with getting in enough calories to not continue to lose. And we're digging in really, really deep and trying to really change some things around and change some mindset things, because we've always looked for lower fat options. And now we're like, okay, your dose has got to be high enough to keep the food noise down. But then at that high dose, it's hard to get in enough calories. And this is really only one person that we're having this much really playing with this.
But she's super systematic and she'll dig in. And yes,
she'll dig in. And she's willing to. But for her, the food noise, not gaining was great, but the food noise was horrendous. And she had to go, on a dose high enough to quell that, because that
Well,
kills the brain for
let's
some
make
of us.
Amy comment the last because Amy said Manjaro is not working for me. No, your provider's not working for you because Manjaro works for everybody.
Pretty much. Yeah, I mean, it kind of depends, like what's your dose, how long you've been on that dose, you know, are you digging into like the diet, making sure you get enough protein, you know, it might just need like tweaking. Like it works slow for some people, incredibly slow for some people. But I
Not
think
gonna
there's
work
a,
overnight for people,
yeah,
but it
Well,
will
and
work.
it's a tool. It's not the only tool. Like it's going to help some, but it's for a lot of now for some people it is a miracle, but for a lot of people it is a tool, but it is not the magic tool, if that makes sense. It makes the
It
what's
was
the saying?
magic relief. It was,
Yeah, it makes the impossible possible.
so Amy started 2.5, moved up every 2 months till I got to 15. Has your provider worked with you on the pillars? If you're still stressed out and not sleeping, you're not going to lose a bit.
you're not getting 100 grams of protein a day. Like there's still things, and you know, if you're our practice, we work that with you on that. And then sometimes we do add other medications, you know, that will assist with these medicines to help them work a little better. We've used it with people who are maxed out. We've used it with people who just can't afford to go up on the compounded version of them. Metformin has worked with us pretty well. We've used naltrexone to help with like cravings, along with like Wellbutrin.
And if I
This
eat
is
certain
effectively
foods,
making Contrave.
yeah, if I eat certain foods, it's like I'm not even on the drug. I'm wasting the money I'm spending.
I think it's more sugary foods because I think you can digest sugar so well that if you're just going to sit there and like and drink a regular soda all day, you could probably drink a case of soda without having any abdominal distress. Versus if you do that with like a glass of milk or like something heavy, a
I'm
milkshake,
not
you're
drinking
never going to
Premier
get that much
protein.
fluid
I know
down.
Courtney's like, "Ugh." I'm not eating Premier protein. Is it normal to go up a dose and be so sick for 6 days and can't keep anything down? 100% no.
No.
That is not is never in our practice. That is never an acceptable side effect. Vomiting is never an acceptable side effect. You can have one puke because you did something stupid. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
But that was 3 nights ago. I didn't throw up, but I was like, I wanted to.
Yeah, either you went up too fast or they increased you too much. You know, like if you went from like 0.25 to like 1 milligram, that's way too fast. And you might just need to drop back down for a little bit before you go back up.
Ozempic goes from 1 to 2. It doubles your dose when they increase there. So
yeah.
Novo, come on, help us out.
Ooh, interesting point about sugar. Makes sense. Yes. In the studies, people who start their day with 30 grams of protein or more eat about 300 to 400 calories less per day. That's a free half pound a week without even thinking about it, just by having a high protein breakfast. It kind of sets the tone for the day, helps with cravings later in the day. So if you start, like, I mean, I found like starting the day with like donuts, like when we get them, I'm craving sugar the rest of the day, as opposed to starting my day with a protein shake or high protein breakfast.
100%. Yes, Meredith, we do. Do we ever inch up levels in between? If you are on so the pens we always use as pens. We do not ever promote opening up your pens. That's because period. But if you're on compounded, we absolutely, I had a patient who could not start at 2.5. Like it landed her in the ER 3 times. Why do we keep doing it? Because she's a friend and we kept trying to do it because she needed the food noise control so badly. We started her off at 1.25, escalated her super slowly. Voila. There we go. So, hold on. Turs, I was due to go to 7. Maybe my body's not ready. I'm so miserably sick. I thought I was going to die. When I went up from 2.5 to 5 and it was too early and I just went up because I thought it was time. I mean, I was texting Neil on vacation, like, Neil, I think I'm going to die. Like I was having vagal episodes. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to pass out. I felt I could barely stand up. I was like, this is horrible. And I was on vacation. I was like, this was such a horror. Cause I thought, what's the big deal? It's 2.5 to 5. I see all these people going up. Oh my God. It was so bad. It was so bad. So you might just not be ready.
But yeah, inch up is fine.
Make sure you check your dose.
And check the dose in case you did the mistake.
Yeah. And then
the bad cough. Yeah. Could be reflux.
If it's reflux, then yes. Otherwise, no, I think you got a cold.
Otherwise, yeah, you got a cold. Which is possible too.
Welcome to fall and back to school season.
Not the PENS compound. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so Yeah. And I know for if Linda, if you're still here, I know I'm late. And I know I should probably post in school that I'm going to be late real quick. Because we're going to go a couple more minutes because I'm tired of rushing.
Lisa says, going from Wegovy to 1.7 to 2.4, I would not be scared because if you're tolerating 1.7, well, it's the doubling. It's kind of like when you know, that math problem, when you say double it every day, you know, if you're doing fine at 1.7, you're doubling to 2.4. You were doubling when you went from 2.25 to 0.5. So I don't think we've had really many people that had a huge problem. It's if you're going from 0.25 to 1, that's way more than a double of the medication. That's where you have trouble.
Chris, do you have people over 2.0 on Ozempic? Well, it doesn't go any higher on Ozempic. On the semaglutide product, we have patients at like 2.4, 2.5 from the compounding pharmacy. That's just kind of as high as it go. We have not gone above that dose.
We don't go above FDA published doses. We know some clinics do, some of the med spas do. We do not do that.
And then some med spas won't go above 1 milligram. Yeah, we've had a couple patients the last couple of weeks come to us because they won't go up. I'm like, that's weird.
Don't make shit up, people. Like, I mean, the studies were done for a reason.
Why
right?
would you just arbitrarily stop?
That's just it, right? Like, because they're afraid of the liability.
Well, they were afraid that their blood sugar would drop too much.
Oh,
what?
Doesn't understand the drug.
Medicine, yes.
Okay. Trying 1 point. Yeah, doctor.
Okay, so you're on Wegovy. Yes. Yeah, it's possible it'll take you to 1.7 on, Wegovy and then back to 2 on Ozempic and then 2.4 on Wegovy. If your insurance is covering that, that's amazing.
That's great. Yeah.
Okay. Right, yeah, Ozempic stops at 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's all right. I will wrap this up. Let me wrap up Instagram first, guys. We'll see you next week. Same time, same bat channels. I'll figure out I'll someday figure out if we can restream. Probably not today. So we'll just do the janky version I'm currently doing. But thank you everyone on Instagram for coming. Make sure to send me a message if you're interested in being a patient, or just go to amstelehealth.com. While I'm talking about this, throw me some likes. Give us some follows. Follow Neil's face. I want to get everyone on TikTok the way we're on Zoom. So go follow Neil so we can see his face. Oh, look at all those hearts. Love y'all. Thank you. Let me stop Instagram. There we go. Oh, now I have to write a caption. Thanks, Instagram. We'll do that in a minute. So yes, follow Courtney. That's so funny. The heart on the head was thank you very much. I love that. That cracks me up. So, and also if you're a patient, you get a Zoom link for this call as well. If it's not a HIPAA compliant space, could we bring it in as a coaching call for this one? I mean, it's public. Like, who gives a shit? Like, just give people a Zoom link. That way they can talk to us closer. Why not? Automate more things.
Big Zoom.
Right?
It'd be a big Zoom.
And if you Zoom bomb us, get reported, and you're getting called out on social media for being an asshole. Have you ever been in a meeting that's been Zoom bombed?
No.
I've never been that lucky.
Neil, shut up. No, they come in with porn shit and like, so I'm in these OA meetings with these old ladies, right? God love them. They're my favorite people. It literally traumatizes these people. I mean, it's terrible. And some of them will go into like OA meetings. They'll do like food pictures and stuff. Like, I'm like, you guys are just assholes. Frankly, assholes. Neil, if you can see the look on Neil's face. I'm like, this is your hobby? What are you doing? Zoom has 150 people. Okay.
Who knew?
Oh, Britt. Welcome back, Britt. All right. So anyways, I don't know. I'm thinking about this because that way we could do coaching. If you want to, maybe we'll do just a private group, and I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. We'll figure something out because I want to be able to coach people. I want to be able to type to people and say, like in a group. I don't know. We'll figure this out because I don't want to do another call. I can't for my own well-being, but I want to help more people. So maybe we'll just put like the formulas and stuff in a group and throw people in there and then give you a Zoom link. That'd be pretty cool. Well, because if we did that, then people would actually have to pay for it. So it would be kind of a private link and it'd be cheap. But that way we could do all the formulas on like how to figure out your body fat and like how to,
Yeah.
you know, how to figure out lean body mass and do all the fun stuff. Sorry. Anyway, I digress. I wish I could be your patient. Well, here's what, if we do it this way, then you could come into the coaching side for just the AMS part and just do it as a separate thing. And then you could kind of get all of our shit because it's not HIPAA compliant anyway here. So why not? Then you get a private, it would be a private Zoom link. So that way I wouldn't have to worry about the Zoom bombers. That might be a better idea. All right, cool. We'll figure something out, guys. We'll figure something out that's cheap and easy, just like us. Just kidding. All right. Britt, send me a DM. All right. We'll end on TikTok. Actually, I'm going to end on YouTube first because it's easier to end. And then